No? There we go. Now my mic's working. Yay! I don't know why it wasn't, but now we're here. Welcome back, race fans. You couldn't hear me say that the first time, so I apologize. But I do want to welcome everybody in. It's an exciting day. We were off last week. No race whatsoever last week. However, we're back now. The final race, round 9 of season 2. Going to kick off going to Zolder today. Absolutely fantastic. I like Zolder. Zolder's a decent track. We're going to have a lot of fun. Standard race today. We're going to get through that and have a lot of fun on track. We got a lot of information as well because we're going to be announcing season 3. There's some other things that we can talk about. Obviously, we have the Xbox side stuff going. We've got new Beer Cup season 2 starting. We've got as well what Euro Trip is changing into, which is World Tour. So we'll bring those up here in just a moment and discuss them. As well, iRacing. We had our first mini season in iRacing. We're going to have another one coming very soon. Just trying to put together some graphics for it. And as soon as that's put together, we'll be announcing that. So iRacing, Xbox ACC, as well as PC ACC are going to continue right here at Box3 Motorsports. In fact, let's take a moment now. Remco hit me up. The server's about to bounce. So let's just take a quick look. Don't forget, as I said, today is the last race at Zolder. Standard race. We're all set there. And again, we're going to be giving away, this will probably happen on the next stream, which I'm not exactly sure when that'll be, but we're going to make sure we announce it then no matter what. Next level racing in that FGT Light going to our pro class champion, silver class champ, pulling a car setup bundle from Coach Dave Academy. And the league will be voting on the most improved driver who will get that track map bundle from season 2. And there's some good contenders. We had some great drivers this year, so we should have some really good contenders for that most improved. As I said, Beer Cup season 2's kicking off May 17th. That's just this week. That's in 2 days. Look at that. 4 rounds. 10 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time kickoff on that. Guys from Trackalicious and 949 joining in, keeping that camaraderie together. It's again something that's a lot of fun. These guys have a blast when they play, so we're gonna let them keep doing that. And as I said, Eurotrip becoming the World Tour from Kyalami to Laguna Seca and back again through Panorama and Paul Ricard. That looks like a fun season as well. Our own Will Green putting that together. Starts tomorrow, May 16th. And again, these are casual series. This and Beer League are casual series. So if you're not a serious sim racer, if you don't want to be running for points, which we do keep score and everything, but it's more casual racing. It's designed to bring people together and let them enjoy each other's time while on track. Our Xbox League continues as well, which is, we just had Zolder, so look at that, 2 in a row. But we're coming back next week to Donington Park for another standard race, May 24th, May 21st. So as we get ready here, this server should be set. Let's get ourselves connected. We got a bunch of software to bring together. There we go. King McGee, as you can see, already on track today. As I said, you'll have to just give me one quick moment here while I get myself set up and ready to go. As we connect softwares and everything going. Oh, driver's already out on track. Daniel Pickett joining us. What's up, Electric? What's going on, man? Long time no see. How you doing, my man? And thank you for that. We work hard on those. As I said, Daniel Pickett back on track today. The Pink Pig Porsche returns. I think it's one of my favorite cars on track. Ryan Blanchett back today as well. Start looking for times to come in on Zolder. Again, just a quick free practice here. About 7 minutes left to go. Remco Otten's back out today in his McLaren. along with Alejandro Aguilar. In what looks to be about our only Nissan on track today, from what I can see. 19 drivers here today. We are missing some notables. Yannick Kurtz will not be here today. Retro Coffin not driving as well. There's that very fancy livery. Do you know if the upcoming Xbox updates will solve force feedback issues? I, sir, have no idea. I no longer have an Xbox. And so therefore I don't pay too much attention to those updates. I mean, we are still running our Xbox League, so that must not be impacting everybody, I would have to assume. That perhaps, you know, that's specific to your hardware. I'm not even 100% sure. Has been a long time since the GHR days, Electric. Good to see you're still out there. Taking it to the track. Tobias Gable back today. Does that side of that car say OnlyFans on it? Did I read that right? I have to wait for the right camera angle to hit to catch that, I think. We watched Tobias throw it right over the curbs. It does say OnlyFans on it. How about that? You go, Tobias. You do you, buddy. Now, up to 21 drivers on track at this point. G. Steven returns as well. So as we continue for our free practice here today, again, this being the last race of Season 1. Standard race, 45 minutes. And then we will, and of course, one mandatory pit stop during the course of that. No pit window, however. A little bit later, I'm hoping I'm going to be joined by Mr. Kevin Huffman, and he and I are going to talk about Season 3 and what to expect. You know, it's for myself who, you know, does this. You know, I do the streams and also participate in the admin of the league and the Discord server and whatnot. But I don't. Other than, you know, kind of maybe just signing off and reviewing things with these guys, it's really people like Huff, Kevin Huffman, Remco Ottens, Will Green on the Xbox side. Those guys really put these seasons together, and they put a lot of work and effort into not just making them different every season, but finding a way to improve them as well. I would say our qualification coming up for this next season is going to be fantastic. You're actually going to get 2 races every week right here on the channel. So something there to take a look at, right? We're going to be able to have 2 races every week. So again, these guys work really hard to put all that together. And on the Xbox side, Mr. B-Fife himself has stepped up and taken over running that league for us and running the drivers meetings and everything else. It's, again, just does a fantastic job. Hats off to those guys, as they are certainly the kind of people that you want around when you're running something this large. One thing I do, while we have a few minutes here left of free practice, the one thing I forgot to hit is we didn't talk about the 6-hour endurance series. We just ran Barcelona yesterday, and let me tell you, lap 1 was sketchy, to say the least. But the rest of that race for 6 hours went really, really well. Again, in conjunction with Trackalicious and Box Motorsports and 949 Motorsports. That race was broadcast by Trackalicious, but the second round, the Hungaroring, you're going to be able to watch right here on June 11th, starting at 4 p.m. UTC, which will be 12 noon Eastern Daylight Time. So if you're interested in that 6-hour endurance, be sure and come on back over. You'll get 2 races that weekend, because I can tell you that's a Saturday. Sunday, we do have our regular league race. We see here King McGee locking down a 1:29.2. That's our fastest thus far in today's free practice session. Just about 2.5 minutes left to go. King definitely one of our faster drivers, and he's certainly standing up to that position so far today. Electric, I was never your rival. You were way too fast for me. I'm the slow one, remember? Looking here, though, we got so far 3 drivers in the 129 range and a good number all the way back to P7, running that 130 during practice. You see there, King McGee only holding purple in Sector 2, 29 seconds flat. We look at the leaderboard. John Gray holding Sector 3 as purple to 29.722. And Andrew Haynes currently sitting P6. Sector 1, 30 seconds, 30.320. As our drivers start heading into the pits for the end of this session. Getting ready for qual today. And hopefully those pit markers stay, and will only disappear during the race and not during practice or quali. We did have a few battles while you were lapping me. That's for sure. You're not wrong. You're right. It was a lot of fun. I don't drive as much anymore. I'm busy doing this, and I've kind of moved over to iRacing. I still do ACC, but I spend more time in iRacing anymore. The slower and the more variable cars available has made it a little more enjoyable for me. Dave Gregory joining us today. Well, several of our drivers not having set any sort of time. Stuart Pryor, Nikolai Tiabuk, DJ. DJ did set one, but it looks like he was on an out lap during that. G. Steven and Terrell Seens Taylor, all those guys opting to not set laps during the free practice. But again, our top 4 drivers now, as we head back to the pits. Top 4 sitting in that 129 range. 130's pushed all the way down to P9. So a lot of close racing ahead of us today. I do mean the V-Bubs. Don't hate, because you can't drive it. I also mean the MX-5. I like the touring cars. Bubs will tell you he does not like the Formula V. It upsets him. Yo, Huffmanic with the sub. Thank you, sir. Huff, I don't know if you've been watching the whole time, but I already told everybody you're going to be coming in to tell us all about Season 3. I've got documentation, but it doesn't make up for that, firsthand, he created it knowledge that Huff can provide. And these guys, again, doing a great job at bringing this all together. Some other folks I want to thank, too, are our stewards. I mentioned Remco because he's running the server today and everything, but Remco Ottens yesterday during the 6-hour live stewarding had several guys. I don't even know who all was live stewarding yesterday, so I apologize if I don't mention you. But big thanks to you guys, because those longer events really require some sort of live stewarding penalty system. Without them, they just, I don't know, it's not the same as doing reports afterwards, right? So I don't know. But again, the main point there being thank you to those guys for doing that yesterday. I was able to jump in on 1 or 2 when I was available, but unfortunately I was out and about yesterday and never really had an opportunity to jump in and help very much. BTC game turned out to be an RF2 DLC. Yeah, time to move over to PC. Electric, come join us. Come join us as we watch Ryan Blanchette come around on his out lap. Need to see what kind of times start coming in here. In that very fancy Nissan of Alejandro Aguilar. Matt Comiskey back on track today. Too much money, yeah. PC can be expensive. That's for sure. As you see, our outlap times coming in now. Obviously, I don't think King McGee is going to be happy with a 5:04 here at Zolder today. As we start getting times coming in here, we'll change up the display and bring in personal, you know, the deltas to the personal best to see where these guys are setting as they continue to put laps in for the next 17 minutes. We'll stick with McGee here real quick and see where he lands for this first lap. 129.362. A little off his pace from free practice. I'm sure he's got plenty of time to tighten that up. I'm sure he's working on that. But a little slower. Andrew Haynes, you see there, coming in with a 129.4. Rob Kiesar out there today in the Porsche. Rob holding on to Sector 1 right now. Took it from King McGee. As he gets bumped a little bit, but we'll see if Rob can bring it in a little. They're currently running about flat from his last lap. John Gray, however, currently 6/10s up. Let's go ahead and switch that up so we can see those deltas there and see how these guys are running. King McGee, you can see, looking to stretch his lead. Up 4/10 right now. Same with Christoph Artz, however, and Rob Kiesar. John Gray almost a full second ahead on his right now. We'll see what that puts him into. He's getting bumped as other drivers complete, but now a second, a 10th up on that fastest time. Lee's nickname is Kingy, so easier to say than King McGee. I'm his dad. Awesome. Well, welcome in, AKM. Did not know that. Glad to have you here. And I will try and remember to call him Kingy from now on. That's not going to be one of those nicknames where later he's like, hey, don't call me. I don't care what my dad tells you, is it? And there, speaking of Kingy, right there, breaks our first 128 today down to a 128.860. Very fast. John Gray gets himself back up into P5. Take a look quick between Haynes and Kingy. Andrew Haynes still holding purple in Sector 1. But Kingy's now still 2/10 faster than his fast, almost 3/10 now than his fastest. Really want to stick right here, see if he's able to set another fastest lap today. Nickname since he was a kid. Okay, I don't want to get yelled at. Like Andrew Haynes scrubbed his lap out. Running ahead, but not going to count this time around. Dimitri Athwal up there now as well, jumping into P2 with that 128.9. So that's two drivers breaking under the 129 mark today so far. And there it is, another new fastest lap from Kingy, 128.467. He's got to be exceedingly happy with that. And you can see there in the bottom, claims purple in all three sectors. We head back out on track with Dimitri Athwal, currently sitting in second and running a 10th up. We will see if McGee heads back out on track today. Dimitri tightening it up as well, currently 3/10 up. Crossing the line with 4/10 on his fastest time, getting him down to a 128.5. So about 0.12 seconds off of Kingy's pace. Just short. So keep an eye on those numbers up there for Dimitri. If you see that go past about 0.1213, we may have a new pole position car for the start of today's race. Remco Ottens jumping himself up into P5 with a 129.5. You know, the free practice is nice because you get like a little preview of what could happen, right? Of maybe King McGee, they're heading back out on track today during qual. The free practice is nice. You get a little bit of a preview, but not everybody goes out during free practice. Not everybody is pushing as hard during free practice. They're trying to dial in tire pressures because the weather typically stays the same from practice to qual to race. 9 times out of 10. Not always, but a lot of times. And so, really, the guys are spending time trying to dial in the tire pressures, trying to find the sweet spot. They're not necessarily pushing like they do during qualification. So again, it's a great preview, but we see here Remco Ottens during free practice was not sitting in the top 10. He is now. Just got bumped to P6. Rob Keesar jumping up there. Andrew Haynes. Haynes again looking to extend and get himself a little higher. 3/10 up on his personal best. In today's last race, the last race of season 2 at Box 3 Motorsports. And this qualification time is my time to ramble because I like to sometimes. You know, Box 3 started last October. We've grown by leaps and bounds during that time, and even now coming into summer and seeing that we're not going to have as many drivers as maybe we normally do because summertime's here for people in the Northern Hemisphere and they want to be outside, right? But even so, to see these guys come together week after week, I watch, you know, if you're a member of the Discord, you get to see the conversations that happen. These guys have an absolute blast together, 99.9% of the time. And because of that, I think we've built something really special. And, you know, any league could say that, right? But our focus on community first means we don't allow people to, you know, if you have a bad race and you bump somebody, we're not allowing anybody to come after you, you know, apologize, move on. We don't let these long protracted arguments happen, and it lets people shake it off. And that's what I think is so special about this community. And I really hope we're going to continue to grow, continue to expand and do the best we can. There have been rumblings, and I'm talking some inside baseball, and I'm probably not even supposed to say this because the other admins might get mad at me. There's been talk of F1 2022. You heard it here. I'm saying there's been talk. I'm not saying anything's going to happen. I'm saying there's been talk. That's all I'm saying. So again, we want to try and continue to expand the league and just have an absolute blast with these guys. So continue to do that long into the future. So again, Kingy holding on right now with a 128.467. Dimitri Athwal, who we saw go into the pits not long ago, with a 128.547. So again, I mean, less than a tenth of a second there between the two of these guys. The 129s, and this is what I was talking about with the free practice, the guys aren't pushing necessarily as hard as they might during qualification. The 129s at this point, if you look here, we can switch it up real quick so everybody can see it. The 129s now extend all the way down to P11 with DJ clocking the last one. So that's a lot of tight racing, you know, all the way back into the mid-pack. And honestly, here's the surprise right now. Tobias Gable, apparently running his own OnlyFans, sitting currently in 22nd with a 135.4. So now the question is begged, is Tobias sandbagging, right? Does he want to start at the back at Zolder? Maybe it's not his strongest track, and he says, you know what? I'm going to start at the back. I want to see what happens, and I'll go from there. Or did he have some struggle locking the car down on this track today? Only time will tell. About 8 minutes left in today's qualifying session. Remco Ottens currently sitting in 7th, looking to extend. Hey, Retro Coffin in the chat. Thank you for being here, sir. So, do we have contact here? Yeah, we do. G. Stevens and Matt Comiskey. Matt heading back to the pits. Christoph Arts. Yellow flagged for a moment as well. Now getting himself back up to speed. Look there, though. Kingy now with a 2/10 better delta. Let's see what happens here. Is he going to extend that lead a little bit more? Now up to 3/10. Let's go. Upset you lost. Let's go is right. The last race of season 2 is kicking off in just over 6 minutes. Coffin, you don't need to thank anybody. Thank you. And thanks to all the drivers out on track. And to all the members of the league that bring something to it. He now see if he can hold on to that 2/10. It doesn't look like he's quite going to get there, but still going to bring the lead just a little bit further. 128.3 now to that 128.5. So now a 2/10 split. Dimitri Athwal right now, though, still holding purple in Sector 3. Take a look real quick at that comparison. And really those two just comparing their last laps. But it gives you an idea of how these guys are running. Dimitri Athwal back on track, but had to go into the pits again. But Kingy is done for this session, or at least going to be jumping back. Will Fernandez gets himself into P3, and now 4/10 up on his best. Again, on 129.270. We'll see if he's our third driver to break down to those 128s. Obviously has the opportunity to do so here. If he can clear traffic. Will Fernandez coming across almost a half second ahead. Let's see if it bumps him. Not quite. Leaves him in third, but he does join the 128 club at a 128.805. Andrew Haynes currently sitting in fourth. Christoph Arts up into fifth position now. Rob Kesar in seventh. Remco Ottens keeps himself in eighth. Right now 2/10 up, but Rob Kesar right there as well. These guys are going to have to battle during this entire race. Upset you lost. I thank you for that. I'm not sure I agree, but I do thank you for it. Much appreciated. Looks like Otten slid a little bit though, dropped a lot of time. Kesar though 2/10 up still. We'll see if these guys flip-flop before the end of qualification. Just under 3 minutes left to go. Rob Kesar jumping up into P5 with that lap. And look, he only had he had a little less than 2/10 on there. I mean, that just goes to show you how close all of these drivers are right now. Able to go from 7th to 5th with 2/10 of a second. with a 129.237. Otten's losing a lot of time through that final chicane. Not really going to make much of an improvement. And John Gray coming as well right there. John Gray is 4/10 up. And Otten's, and there it is. John Gray jumps himself up into P5. I tried to catch him before he crossed the line and couldn't get there. John Gray shooting ahead to P5 for the start of today's race, bumping Kesar out of that top 5 slot. Matt Comiskey currently having a very good lap, bringing himself about 3/10. Getting slowed down in traffic now, however. Driver in front of him losing him about 1/10 to 1/10.5. Steven, though, also currently in P10, a half second up on his fastest. "45-minute race today, sir." We'll be kicking it off here in just a few minutes. Yeah, we're running 45 minutes today. Standard race for Box 3 Motorsports. Steven pushing hard. Only about 2/10 now. He lost a little bit, but let's see if he's able to. And that'll scrub that lap out right there. But Dimitri Athwal, it's never over. Qualifying's not over until my camera resets and I have to go in and hit escape drive. 100%. Because if you look, Dimitri Athwal currently up on his fastest, but lost it again. That chicane, that last chicane playing havoc with a lot of people's laps, and Dimitri unable to get really any better. Maybe bring it down a touch. About 0.05 of a second. As qualifying comes to an end. Take a look real quick and at the times before we lose them. So 128.3 from King McGee will be on pole today with Dimitri Athwal. He's going to share row 1 with Dimitri Athwal. Will Fernandez, Daniel Pickett, row 2. John Gray, Rob Kesar, row 3. Andrew Haynes and Christoph Arts will share row 4. Remco Ottens and G. Steven in row 5. That could be a great battle today. We will try and focus right there because I'll tell you, these guys know how to drive and they both have about the same pace. So Remco Ottens and G. Steven's a place where we're going to try and keep some eyeballs today. We'll see what happens. Row 6, however, DJ and Rogerio Santos, Matt Comiskey, and Stuart Pryor will make up row 7. Ryan Blanchett and Bob Charlton, row 8. David Soul returns with Alejandro Aguilar in row 9. David Gregory and Terrell Seans-Taylor, row 10. Nikolai Tiabuk and Tobias Gable, again a surprise. Not sure why, but Tobias Gable going to start in the last row, row 11. So a little bit different there. Kind of curious, and we'll have to see what happens today during the course of the race. Yep, Huff not driving today. You're stuck with me talking. He might join us later. I'm hoping he's going to join us later because we're going to talk about Season 3. And when you want to talk about Season 3, you talk to the man who built a lot of it. Speaking of which, though, let's take a quick look. Don't forget, 6-hour endurance series continues on June 11th. You're going to be able to watch that one right here. Yesterday's race was over at Trackalicious, so if you want to go back and watch it, you should at least go back and watch lap 1 T1 because it was unbelievably terrible. Point being, that's nobody's fault specifically, you know, whatever. But you're going to be able to watch the Hungaroring race June 11th right here. 6 hours of GT3, GT4 multi-class racing with Box 3 Motorsports 949 and Trackalicious Sim Racing. And just for folks like Electric, don't forget, we still race on Xbox over there. And they're back next week, Donington Park, for a standard 45-minute race. 1 mandatory fuel stop for our Xbox guys. there's other Xbox races too. Now, I don't have anything here for them, but we also have 2 casual series during the week. We have the Italian Challenge that runs on Friday nights, and we also have, why can't I even think of the name of it? The GT4. We're doing a GT4 season on the Xbox side. So, you know, you guys are having a lot of fun, doing different stuff, having a lot of fun, getting together. Again, much like the PC, again, Beer Cup comes back Tuesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. This is really more for the North American guys, but again, in conjunction with Trackalicious and 949. And Eurotrip now becomes the World Tour. As I said earlier in today's broadcast, we're going from Kyalami to Laguna to Paul Ricard to Suzuka to Monza. It's all over the world. We're doing a tour of those Porsche Cups and those BMWs. That is on Tuesdays. Again, casual racing on the PC side to bring everybody together and let these guys just go out and track and have some. TG says, I can't drive the McLaren anymore. Don't like the track and wanted to do a last to X challenge again anyway, and I wanted to use the livery at least once. I do like your OnlyFans livery. I'll give you that. I will give you that, sir. And good luck. Let's see how it goes for you. So TG going to do a last to first. Let's see where he gets. And that McLaren. That's going to get very interesting very quickly as our grid lines up. And as I said, there are your standings. King McGee, Kingy, going to share row 1 with Dimitri Athwal, Wilson Fernandez, Daniel Pickett in row 2. A lot of Porsches up front. Wow. I did not realize that during qualification. That is a lot of Porsches. As we bring up our race gaps, getting ready to go. Again, 45-minute race today. Get our pit stops in there. TG, so TG, and what I am hearing, would it be correct to say that this race is in the McLaren because it's end of the season? Your next season you will be coming back in the new Audi Evo 2. Is that my understanding? Daniel Pickett right up there. Oh, and Dimitri Athwal drops to the pits. That is very unfortunate. Something happened. So Dimitri Athwal will be doing a pit start today as the rest of our drivers get going behind Kingy. That's a shame. He had such a great run during qualification. Something must have gone sideways on him. So very sad to see. Again, though, a lot of Porsches up front. Porsche has an opportunity here today. So TG coming back in the Audi, a man after my own heart. Cloverino couldn't make the race today. Cheering for all the drivers on track. Thank you, Cloverino. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you stopping by. So with Dimitri Athwal out and doing a pit start up front, we've got King McGee, Will Fernandez, Daniel Pickett, John Gray, and really Rob Keesar in our top 5. So I got to ask chat, who's going to end up on top today? Who are we going to have at the end of this race holding number 1? Electric says King, he's going to take it. Andy says King is going to take it. I knew that answer already, sir. TG still worn out from yesterday. I can understand that 6-hour race yesterday. I saw you. I was watching though, TG. I was watching. Well, not all of it. I had to be away, but I was watching as much as I could, so. Over at Trackalicious. Again, Daniel Pickett in the pink pig Porsche. Fife, why? Why, Fife? Who hurt you today? Who hurt you today that you had to put that in our chat? I will say we got some good drivers up front. Let's see how this goes as they drop into double file to get ready for the start of this race. Coming through that final chicane, we will get ready. And hopefully, contrary to what B Fife in the chat has to say, we are not going to see a pileup going into T1. I will do my best to keep up with it, ladies and gentlemen. Again, Kingy gonna lead the way by himself, really, and is able to hold on very easily, but John Gray challenging Pickett on the inside. Little wide run, but nothing horrible through there, and all of our drivers get out. We did have a little bit of contact, some door banging from Andrew Haynes and Rob Kesar into T2. Both able to survive, however. DJ losing a good number of positions, but back on. And Kingy holds on as we get out of the kerfluffle in the back. Again, having row one to himself, a huge advantage, not having anyone to really battle, but Wilson Fernandez gets himself up into P2. And I told you we were going to have to watch right here. Here it is. Remco Ottens and G. Steven have traded positions 3 times already. And we're not even through the first lap. Ottens seems to be holding on to it for right now. But I told you we were going to have to watch back here during this race today. Tobias Gable. Oh, and we got cars off track. David Gregory off track towards the back. But Tobias Gable already from P22 up into P18. As Daniel Pickett now is going to have to contend with John Gray. But and Pickett going through the dirt, taking a bit of a shortcut. Not really. Opens the door for John Gray to sneak through. King McGee setting the first fastest lap at a 1:32.6. I'm sure they will drop from there. So Daniel Pickett losing position to Gray due to taking it a little deep into the dirt. Now he's trying to fend off Christoph Arts. And right behind these guys, Kesar and Haynes trading door paint. And as I said, Remco Ottens and Steven now into the sand, allowing Rogerio Santos to get by. Kesar and Haynes again, a little bit of paint trading, and Christoph Arts. Let's jump back real quick. Hit it back. Christoph Arts able to get around Daniel Pickett, and Daniel Pickett losing position very quickly as he heads off into the wall right there. Already back to P14 due to that incident. Andrew Haynes now under pressure from Remco Ottens. So G. Steven as well. Something happened as G. Steven is now P17, so maybe we aren't going to have any more battles between himself and Mr. Ottens today. But that's all right, because Ottens is happy to take it to Mr. Andrew Haynes. Daniel Pickett now heading into the pits, no doubt with damage. Unfortunate, having started up there in P5, just to lose that much so, right off the front. And it doesn't appear as though there was any contact whatsoever. I think Daniel driving hard today. Alejandro Aguilar now dealing with David Soul. Alejandro doing everything he can to make that very colorful Nissan as wide as possible right now. You're not wrong, Upset. Sitting up there now 2.4 off, Wilson Fernandez about 2 seconds off of Kingy's pace. Take a jump up front, though, to P5, Rob Keesar and Andrew Haynes now. Haynes getting a little bit of a reprieve from the pressure of Ottens, and now maybe going to apply some of his own to Rob. There you see it, new fastest lap, King McGee with a 129.112. So both G. Steven and Terrell Scenes Taylor into the pits at this point. Daniel Pickett now back out on track, as this right here between Rob Keesar and Andrew Haynes continues to be our closest battle right now. We keep an eye a little further back for P12 between Stuart Pryor and Alejandro Aguilar. Remco Ottens is just waiting to capitalize on this. As we watch this battle continue, if we take a quick look here, let's see who our winner thus far of this race really is at this point, right? You gotta say, Christoph Art's currently sitting P4. He's gained 5 positions during the course of this race. Will Fernandez obviously very happy to be up in P1, or P2, but only gaining 1 position to do so. So Christoph Art's really putting on a performance in the first few laps to gain those 5 positions. Remco Ottens as well, gaining 4 during the course of those first few laps. Having gotten now around Andrew Haynes, we'll see if he can tighten up on Rob Keesar. Check back on Tobias Gable and David Gregory. He's getting flagged. Rogerio Santos having to watch out for the Porsche of DJ right behind him. Kingy now little over, yeah, still holding about that 2 to 2.5 seconds, sometimes expanding out. I mean, we see it now jumping out to 4. But Fernandez able to tighten that up from time to time. I wonder if these guys have different sectors. Let's take a look real quick and see if there are certain sectors. King McGee holding purple across all 3. But Santos about a 10th off in Sector 1, about a 10th off in Sector 2, and about a 10th off in Sector 3. So again, a little off pace, but evenly spread across the 3 sectors, right? There's no one that one of them's making up more time than the other, I should say. But Fernandez's fastest lap, he's a little bit ahead right now. We'll see if he can tighten down to Kingy's pace at any one point. And we wanted to keep an eye back here. Stuart Pryor under pressure from Alejandro Aguilar. See if Aguilar can put that Nissan to work. Oh, and pressure right there. Stuart Pryor going through the sand. Oh, and Fernandez with a problem up front. Let's jump up there real quick. Getting spun. 10 seconds is never long enough. It's on my nerves. Let's jump back here, though. Aguilar able to get ahead of Stuart Pryor. David Soul losing position there as well. So the only question would be is, did Fernandez get spun or did he spin himself? Obviously the replay, we couldn't get there quick enough to grab that. which is unfortunate. But that puts John Gray now up into P2 with Christoph Arts in P4. David Soul and Dmitry Athwal. We all know Dmitry started started P2 in this race, ends up losing position. Now, hold on. That's the second time that we have watched as Dmitry Athwal takes that position from David Soul, putting himself back up into P14. That is the second time we've watched Stuart Pryor cut that chicane. Does he just not want to drive it, or as he allows Dmitry on by? I mean, again, we've seen this happen before. These guys drive together every week, right? Not every week, but you get my point. They drive together regularly. They know each other. If I've got someone like Dmitry Athwal behind me who has qualied P2 in this race, okay, and I'm Stuart Pryor, and as Stuart Pryor, I'm dead even right now, so I qualied P14. Am I really not just going to let him by? I think I am. It depends, right? But I think so in a lot of cases. So now it's Alejandro Aguilar, who we've watched battle before. He's done very well for himself today, but Dmitry Athwal is about to start applying pressure here. A ton of pace in that Porsche. And Remco Ottens just moved ahead of Rob Kiesar. Let's watch these guys come around the corner. A little bit of a door bang. Another little bit of a door bang through the chicane. And Ottens giving that position back to Kiesar after realizing the door bangs were causing an issue. It's David Soul and Stuart Pryor now. So again, let's take a quick look. King McGee, Gangy, as they call him, currently running out ahead in P1. 4.6 seconds the gap now. But Christoph Arts, let's jump it back and take a look. Christoph Arts and John Gray going to go to battle. So Arts able to get himself into P2, but now John Gray may be struggling a little bit because Wilson Fernandez has now lined himself right up there behind him. It looks like John Gray maybe lost his footing a little bit, but is now starting to settle back in. We'll see if he can keep Fernandez at bay. Here we go a little further back. Rob Kiesar. Remco Ottens starting to tighten up. All that battling obviously playing havoc with lap times as we watch King McGee stretch his lead out to now over 5 seconds. John Gray's not done. Christoph Arts might have been able to sneak up there, but he is not done defending that position as he tightens up on the back. Dmitry Athwal heads into the pits. Alejandro Aguilar again now under pressure from David Soul. Remco Otten's not giving up on Rob Kiesar. Wants to get himself a top 5 finish here for the last race of the season. We'll have to keep an eye up front too as John Gray continues to battle Wilson Fernandez. There you have it. Remco Otten's able to get ahead of Rob Kiesar right there, and Wilson Fernandez getting ahead of John Gray as well. Too many battles today, folks. I can't keep up with all of them. So Fernandez moves himself into P3. Remco Otten's into P5. I would say, obviously, that the mandatory pit stop counter is not working, so I will play with that later. So again, let's take another quick look here just to see what all has happened. Christoph Arts has got to be the GOAT in today's race so far, right? 7 positions gained since the start of this race. We've seen them, and again, nothing that he caused. There was no incident, nothing like that. I mean, he worked his way to the front. Obviously, some luck there with other people having some problems getting out of the way. At the end of the day, 7 positions up, now sitting in P2. Now, is he going to close in on Kingy? Probably not, but still a fantastic performance today. If you're any of these guys up front, Wilson Fernandez holding his own as we check in with Christoph Arts. But even behind, John Gray up 1 position. Remco Otten's another one, up 5 spots today. We can even go back further. I mean, again, Ryan Blanchette, David Soul, and Tobias Gable so far have made up a ton of position today, and it's fantastic to watch. These guys have done a great job. Speaking of it, John Gray and Remco Otten's again. Otten says, I'm not happy with top 5. Rob Kiesar still sitting right there as well. And Andrew Haynes behind them. Rob having to play defense pulls off the back end of Otten's a little bit. Otten's finding himself in a Porsche sandwich. How many drivers today? 22. 22 drivers to finish off this season. 26 minutes left to go in the final race here at Zolder of Season 2 of Box 3 Motorsports, the Arrival. And right there, Andrew Haynes able to make the play and get around Rob Kiesar. So now, how much fighting will he have to do to maintain this position versus getting an opportunity to go after Remco Otten's? Oh, and Otten's off track. Let's see where this lands us now. John Gray ahead of Remco Otten's. So John Gray into the pits now. But Otten's dropping position to Andrew Haynes. Not quite. Obviously some trouble there, though. But what it has done is allowed them to tighten up so much that we now see he's got to fight Haynes and Kisar off. Otten's going very wide and opening the door. Like Ryan Blanchette struggling further back, losing position to David Soul, knocking him out of the top 10. So Tobias Gable able to move up into P15 now ahead of John Gray as Gray comes back out of the pits. Rogerio Santos and DJ. Close racing during the entire time today. Now Ryan Blanchette into the pits. As we stick with Rogerio Santos continuing to battle against DJ. Why does it seem every battle we get into today, we're seeing a Porsche sitting right there? Kingy up front, extending his lead now to almost 10 seconds, just running away with this. No doubt driving in traffic at this point with back markers. But able to continue to extend that lead. Will Fernandez, I think about a second back off of Christoph Arts. And again, Christoph Arts having a fantastic race today. Last we checked, gaining 7 positions to put himself up into P2. Check back with John Gray, Dimitri Athwal, and G. Steven making a run. Oh, and a push and a bang right through the chicane. We've seen that there more than once. John Gray, Dimitri Athwal, as G. Steven gets to take advantage of that and pull away from both Porsches. As contact is made, and we have to check in on Aguilar and Pryor now. That chicane is extremely dangerous. We've seen that before. Door banging turns into pushed off track very quickly. Bob Charlton now into the pits. Got to check in with Christoph Arts and Wilson Fernandez, though this battle has suddenly tightened up quite a bit. Thanks, cameraman. Ah, you figured it out. Okay, good. Oh, and Wilson Fernandez decides to head into the pits. A little bit of grass with him when he went, but and here we go. This battle between Rogerio Santos and DJ continues in the background. So just under 21 minutes left to go as drivers have begun clearing their mandatory pit stops. Andrew Haynes and Remco Otten's now Pit stops always make things interesting. Haynes again still holds purple in sector 2 last lap. Aguilar, Sol, and Fernandez now into the pits. Remco Otten's looking to keep that McLaren ahead of Haynes' BMW. And there he is, our first 128 of the race. Kingy with a 128.980. But obviously not what we saw during qual, right? Qual's a different beast than the race is, but still able to break down under 129 during the course of this race. That gap now opened up to over 12 seconds over Christoph Artz. Rogerio Santos and DJ continue to battle as well up here for P6 right now. As that gap opens, another one closes. Dimitri Athwal leading Wilson Fernandez now. Again, everywhere we go, there's a Porsche for some reason. I don't understand. It's like y'all taking racing tips from Zap Brannigan. Remco Otten's now into the pits along with Rob Kisar. Rogerio Santos heading in. The jockeying begins. Now, you know, obviously Kingy's going to have a great opportunity there. 13 seconds up. He can take his pit whenever he wants. He should be able to get back out there over Christoph Artz and hold on to P1 with no problem, provided he can put himself into the pit box correctly and get back out as quickly as possible. Otten, Santos, and Kisar all headed back out. Check in with these guys real quick and see just how far apart they are. Not very, I can tell you that. There's Rogerio, and there sits Rob Kisar right behind him. So all of these guys dumping back out on the track right together. 8, 9, and 10 respectively. You see the gaps there. We will see how this plays out for the remainder of this race. Just over 16 minutes left to go. Dimitri Athwal again with Wilson Fernandez right there behind him. Andrew Haynes now into the pits. Tobias Gable able to get ahead of Remco Ottens to take up P7. However, Tobias has not yet taken that pit stop. We'll see if he heads in now. Not quite. Oh, and Rogerio Santos there was applying pressure to Remco Ottens, lost the back end. Rob Keesar able to capitalize and get around him. Haynes quickly dropping position off into the dirt. Checking again with Dimitri Athwal and Wilson Fernandez. Fernandez with the inside line, but not for long, and able to seal it before the chicane. Putting himself back up into P13. Dimitri, no slouch, though. We'll try and keep an eye back there. See what happens towards the end of this race. Tobias Gable, Remco Ottens. Now, if I'm Ottens right now, I'm going to keep the pressure on, but I just don't know how much fighting I'm going to do, because Tobias has still got to go into the pits, near as I know. I don't believe he's been in yet. So if that's the case... Oh, and something bad happened back here. Between Athwal and... Let's hit this back real quick. And keep a focus on... Oh... Why is it doing that? Well, I was trying to watch Dimitri Athwal, and it will not let me. So we're locked out. Unfortunately. I don't know why. That was very strange how it did that. I apologize. Haynes and Fernandez now. King McGee still hasn't headed into the pits, along with Tobias Gable working himself up into P5. Matt Comiskey is up there, along with DJ. Right now, Haynes and Fernandez will battle it across the line for another lap. Fernandez able to shoot ahead right there. Held a lot more speed through that corner. Wow, Fernandez able to take that very quickly in T1. Two laps in, 11 and a half minutes left to go in today's race at Zolder, the final race of season 2 at Box 3 Motorsports. Some of the same cars seem to be fighting each other over and over on track. Tobias Gable leading Remco Ottens now, as we get a McLaren versus McLaren battle. Christoph Arts now heads into the pits. That will clear up P2 and allow DJ to move forward. We keep an eye on Tobias Gable, Remco Ottens. Our drivers now starting to spread out towards the last part of this race here a little bit. Go back and take a look at Terrell. Scenes Taylor, though, with Stuart Pryor right there behind him. Scenes Taylor leaving his blinker on as he continues around the course. So again, Christoph Arts into the pits at this point. Science Taylor letting Kingy around. But Stuart Pryor still right there wanting to claim that position. Daniel Pickett and G. Steven now. There's that pink Porsche one more time. Stevens quickly falling outside that sweet spot of 0.4 of a second to keep this battle close as Daniel Pickett starts pulling away. Stuart Pryor, Nikolai Tsiabuk. Lee King McGee still sitting up in P1, has not pulled that pit stop yet. 8 minutes left to go. With now a 38-second lead over DJ. Matt Comiskey as well. I don't believe having hit that pit stop yet. Wilson Fernandez able to get ahead of G. Steven. Stevens and Haynes gonna battle back here. As you see right in front of them, Pickett and Fernandez will battle as well. Haynes looking for an opportunity. King McGee now into the pits, back out. Waiting to see where he comes out. Should, I believe, he may lose one more position to Comiskey. It doesn't appear so. Yeah, he's back out now and rolling. DJ currently sitting up front in P1. Let's get back here to Pickett and Fernandez. Oh, and we see G. Steven there in the background spinning. Let's replay that real quick. Was that himself? Yeah, it was. Hook the grass, and that's all she wrote. As Pickett and Fernandez continue to head on. Both these guys having lost positions today. Pickett starting this race very well positioned in P4, but throughout the course has now dropped 5 spots. Fernandez even worse. I mean, started right up there in P3 and now down to P10. So not an easy race for either one of these guys. Obviously, both of them looking to clamber up back as high as they can. So Matt Comiskey now into the pits here at the end, allowing Christoph Arts to get back up into P2. Now that leaves Tobias Gable sitting P4 right now, but I don't actually up to P3 with them both dropping. I do not believe that Tobias has headed into the pits yet. DJ and Comiskey now both coming out. King McGee now with a 19-second lead over Christoph Arts. Tobias Gable 10 seconds back from there, but he's going to have Remco Ottens to contend with. We're going to have to watch here because Gable needs to head into these pits before the end of this race with only 4 minutes left to go. Tells me it's either this lap or the next one, and that's about it. Kingy setting a new fastest lap, 1:28.922. Edging it down just a little bit now with that 20-second lead out front. And not yet, he says. Tobias Gable continuing to stay on track and not take his pit stop yet. I could be completely wrong about that, but I do not believe he's been into the pits during the course of this race. DJ now into the pits again. That's not good. Pickett and Fernandez continue to battle back here. Haynes not that far behind them. Fernandez fights off Haynes while still trying to bring it up to Pickett. The other thing about it too is that Gable may not be concerned about taking his pit and then take the disqualification. I don't know why he would, but he said he couldn't drive the McLaren anymore. He was here to race, started in last. Maybe he just doesn't care if he finishes in last and doesn't want to be a spoiler to anyone else in today's race. I really don't know. Pickett losing out to Fernandez, and now Haynes looking to take the same advantage of him. Remco Ottens continues up there to put pressure on Gable. And Ottens able to get around. Tobias Gable now back into P4 as Remco Ottens brings himself all the way up to P3 during the course of this race today. Just fantastic driving from Ottens. And again, 42 seconds left. Either Gable goes in right now or Gable already went in and I'm completely mistaken, but I don't believe he has. Or he's just again going to take the DQ and not worry about he just wanted to drive today and see how far he could get. I'd say he's done a good job. I mean, granted, everybody else had to take a pit stop, so you can't really count it, but you know, 18 positions. Okay. Christoph Arts though again, and honestly at this point we can't even talk about Christoph Arts by himself. Let's bring this up again. Christoph Arts and Remco Ottens both gaining 7 positions during the course of today's race. Just fantastic to watch both those guys drive. Matt Comiskey up 4 to get into P9. Rogerio Santos up 6. So really good job, really great driving from Arts, Ottens, Santos, and I would even say Alejandro Aguilar today up 5. So a lot of great driving during the course of today's race. We head up and check on King McGee. King McGee has finished number 9, your winner of the final race of season 2 at Box 3 Motorsports. Christoph Arts making his way through the final chicane one more time. Again, up 7 positions today. Just fantastic driving from Christoph. Remco Ottens as well, as he crosses just ahead of Tobias Gable. We should see that change. Again, I might be 100% wrong, but I have a hard time believing Tobias hit the pit stop.
A great drive from Lee King today.
100%. How are you, Mr. Kevin Huffman?
I am awesome. How are you?
Fantastic. I'm good, my man. Good.
Seemed like a pretty good race today, man. I tried to, I listened to the whole thing. You know, I'm outside doing, just some yard work, checking off some honey-do list stuff. Lee King, dominant performance today.
Yeah,
congratulations.
Just crushed it, and really great driving from him. But also Christoph Arts and Ottens, Remco Ottens, all those positions gained. I mean, that's just, fantastic as far as I'm concerned. Let me see something though. I can return to the garage. I don't have any penalty on Gable on my screen, so
did he like secretly clear his pit?
I don't know. He must have, unless I'm wrong. Which it's always possible. Been wrong before.
Yeah.
Ask my wife; she'll tell you. There you go. King McGee finishes off season 2. The winner of today's race, Christoph Arts, Remco Ottens, up there as well. Excellent to see. Oh, TG pitted on lap 1. That's why I missed it.
Excellent strategy too.
Tricky little guy. So really, you want to talk about the best driver in today's race? 18 positions gained by Tobias Gable during today's race.
Yeah, fantastic.
That is fantastic. So, but Huff, you're here for a reason, my man.
I am here for a couple of reasons, actually. First off, I just want to say thank you to everybody. That's everybody here, not just, the staff at Box 3, of course, the drivers as well. I'm just super proud of, everything we've done so far. I heard you touch on it a little bit earlier, but we started back in October. And to be where we're at today, I'm blown away.
That's fantastic. What I mean? Oh, yeah. 100%, dude. I love it. I think it's awesome.
We're sitting at about 900 members in our Discord. We have a steady flow of drivers for, PC and Xbox as well.
Yep.
Things are looking up, man.
You ain't going to yell at me because of what I said halfway through the broadcast, are
you? Which one?
About when I said that there's been rumble about a certain other racing sim.
No, I'm not going to rumble.
I said there's been rumbles. That's all I said. There's been rumbles. Nobody's saying anything. Just that there have been rumbles.
Hey, it's I played the F Word 21 last year.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fun game, man. It really is.
It's
not meant to be super semi like ACC, iRacing and things of that nature, but it does attract a different crowd, and we're not looking for that crowd. I
think we got to be careful, right?
Yes.
I think that's the big thing, is we really have to be careful when it comes to that. And oh, look, I still have the Imola
community first, and I want to keep that community, I don't want to say in check because we're not freaking dictators here, but I want to keep the vibe. We have a great, community. We got good guys. We have a good atmosphere.
100%. Yeah, it's not about, again, like you said, it's not about keeping people in check or saying, hey, you'll do what you're told.
Sure.
That's not what it's about. It's about saying, look, we got a good thing going. We don't want to blow it out.
Yep, 100%.
So, started off casual if we decide something, right?
But yeah, for sure. But But back to the ACC thing,
Yeah.
season one, the inception, literally, it was the inception.
Mm-hmm.
We had a pretty good turnout. We had max grid for almost the whole season. You're naturally going to see some drop off,
Yep.
especially over these longer 10-9 race series. Season two, the arrival. Hey, we're here. This is us. We're Box. This is what we're about. Season three. I'm going to go ahead and put the link to the Discord. Excuse me, the SimGrid sign up.
She's
There it
open.
is.
She's
That is
open.
season
Let's
three.
go. Now
It is open with a caveat. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say,
caveat.
do me a favor
The
because I
link
want to
there.
understand this.
Yeah, the link there. There's a lot of moving pieces, but luckily, once again, communities coming together. Everybody helping out. Just people being awesome. Essentially, a
Mhm.
huge shout out to Alex Nunez and Rapper Drivers Club. They are providing a tool and a server for us to use as a hot lap, hot stint server. So essentially, you click that link, get signed up. I'll fix that here in a minute. Webcake, sorry. Let me talk through this.
I got it. I got it. I got it.
Nice.
You talk.
But anyway, that is a qualifying session. It's going to be 2 tracks. You'll be able to log on to a website. All this information is going to be in our Discord, and it's actually linked in the SimGrid as well. But you go in there, you set 5 valid laps.
Okay.
And it averages your pace, and that way we can nail down and really get our driver classification sorted.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be running 2 different servers. We're going to have the pro class and the pro class and the silvers running together on one server. And once again, all this information's found on the SimGrid and in Discord, but I'll talk you through it the best I can.
This
so
is
we're gonna
open,
have 40
right? Huh?
cars.
Just so I've said
it. So we're gonna have 40 cars, on one grid, and then that's meant for the high pace, the high level, high skill level, the top tier guys.
Yeah.
But we've always been open to anybody and everybody. You pick up a freaking controller on a toaster, come race with us, man. As long as you're paying, as long as
100%.
you're a good guy, come race with us. We're open to
100%.
anybody. So with that being said, we're going to have another series. We're going to call this the AM/Pro Am series. And that's going to take the positions from the qualifying sessions, P41 down to the rest of the field to fill out, just to allow for some tighter racing at the bottom of the field. Now I say bottom, I don't mean, I'm not saying anything bad about these drivers, but you could be new. You could just not really give 2 craps.
Yeah.
You could just show up and want to race and have a good, clean, fun, organized race. And I think we put those on.
I think so too. And when you talk about that, when you say the bottom of the field, that's me. That's who I am, right? I'm just slow. I don't care. I'm here for fun. Yeah. So,
which 100%. In the past we've done qualifying. We've done hot stints. Take a screenshot of this and that. It's a lot of moving field. It's a lot of moving pieces, and this makes it a little bit easier. And it's black and white. You're going to be able to log on to these websites, listed, and check and see where you fall. So if you're sitting at 41st and you're like, man, I got to get up on that. I got to get in silver class. Go in and try again. There's no limit. You can keep trying.
So, okay. So looking at this, as I look at this while you talk about it. So this series that people would sign up using the link that I actually got done and in there. This series, and registration is closed right now, by the way.
Yeah, Remco is sorting that. Thank you.
Perfect.
Like I said earlier, shout out to him, man. He's been a huge help. You touched on it a bit, but
oh yeah,
I meant to go into it a little bit earlier, but just the team we've built here at Box, man.
That's fantastic.
We have a solid ass team.
Yep, I love it. So this series, once he opens it up for registrations, guys. So yes, registrations are about to be open for this. This one right here is just the qualifying. There will be another season built, which will actually be season 3, but on this qualifying page, if you scroll to the bottom, you can see the schedule. You can see what the schedule for the season is going to be, is what I'm getting at.
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Just want to make sure I'm wrapping my head around it. So I might even go qualify myself and not even race. I just want to see how I do against other people.
With that, we talked a little bit about, just covering the pro server.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people want to race. They want to be like, look, Mom, I'm on TV.
That's
right.
What
I mean? So, that's why we decided to kind of shorten the length of the races a bit, change up the format a little bit. We're not going to cover quality of the pro race anymore. We're just going to touch on the last few minutes of it to kind of set the tone for the race. But both races are being covered.
So there'll be a bit of an overlap, right? So with the way I envision the streams happening is basically, we'll start the stream with a few minutes left in the AM qualifying, right? I mean, look, if you're in the U.S. and you watch high school sports, it's JV, okay? So we're going to start at the end of, right near the end of qualifying for the AM class race. We'll do the AM class race. When that finishes, we should be lined up to join the pro class race with just a few minutes left in qualifying. We can catch up on everything, and boom, we're into the pro class race, right? I mean, that's the way it should work.
Definitely.
So, perfect. Sounds good to me, man. We'll do it.
And it's also, we've typically done longer series in the past,
Mhm.
especially during the winter when people are indoors, they've got, they're kind of locked in, they've got more time to commit.
Yeah.
Summertime, you see people paid off anyway. Myself, I'm one of them. I'll admit, I've got tons of things to do in the summer.
Oh, yeah,
So I may
dude.
not have time to commit, but, with only a 5 or 6 race series, sure. And plus, that makes the championship running a bit interesting.
I
It's
think so,
anybody's
too.
championship.
It really is. And like you said, I mean, I was, Will and I have been talking about it a little bit back and forth, is I just wonder if it's the season, man. It's summertime. I watched maybe 45 minutes of the 6-hour race yesterday. I wanted to watch a ton more, but I was outside. We were building a new barbecue. So, with my wife, like what, kind of stuff you were doing today. It's one of those things. So maybe there'll be fewer drivers for the summer seasons, but that's okay too. There's a lot more to talk about there. There's more to more to focus on. And I think, I still think it'll work out great. And this schedule looks fantastic.
So. We're still going to see a turnout, and there's no cap on, the qualifying. So
Perfect.
Everybody tell your mom to jump in if she wants to.
Yep. Everybody go qualify. I might, like I said, I might even jump in and qualify just to see what I run, just being able to see what it's going to show and everything else. But should mention it will open at midnight.
Yeah, for sure.
On the 16th of
all
May.
The specifics are there.
Yeah, it's going to open. So it's going to open tonight at midnight. That qualification server will open tonight at midnight. And you have until the 31st. So you have like 2 weeks to get in there and run this.
Yep.
So, pretty easy.
Yeah. Yeah, that should give people ample time to go in and set 5 valid laps and,
somebody should
get
tell
sorted to where they.
Now, let me ask you this. So how does this server work? So let's say I go in and I set 5 valid laps. Okay.
Yep.
And after that, I'm like, you know what? I could do better. So maybe I run offline and I practice for a little bit, and then I go in and I want to do another 5 laps. Is it going to take the best 5 laps that I run?
Yeah, it'll take it'll bump your previous out, and it'll get rid of that, and it'll update you with the faster.
Gotcha. Okay.
I don't know the complete ins and outs of this, but I kind of know the groundworks, and I know how to get it up and going. That's this is all a friend of a friend.
Yeah.
Alex Nunez from Rapid Drivers Club. They run a solid league over there. He offered to actually set us up with this, so huge shout out to them for sure.
So how can people find the server?
The server, I'll have all the specifics in Discord, and I should probably update the sim grid on how to actually find the server. But I usually don't like to put server information on sim grid.
Yeah,
because anybody can get in there and get that.
Yep.
But I'll have it all in Discord once it's ready to rock.
Okay, there you go. So guys, the server's going to open tonight. Go to the Discord for that info on how to join the server. I'm sure Huff will tag everybody or all of PC ACC and put it in the announcements channel so that you guys will be able to find that. Because I see the links for the leaderboards are there. So I was taking a look at that, but I don't see actually how to access the server. And obviously you're going to have to search through your ACC to get in there.
Yep.
So perfect. Well, thanks, Huff.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you. Thanks for doing this, Adam. You're a huge staple of the community. You put a face to the league, man. You don't want my ugly mug up there. I'd probably scare people away.
I sit here and judge and look. I judge down upon other people. That's my job. I love it. It's my favorite job. It's the best job I've ever had. No, I think, you know what? I see myself as ancillary to all this, right? This is a nice to have, but to run a race league, to have a race league, you don't need streaming. You don't have to have it, right? And so I see this as like, that's great. We have it. I'm glad I can do it, but we don't have to. You guys that actually spin this stuff up and actually put everything together, like this qualifying, that to me is like, that's 100 times more difficult than sitting here and yapping at people. That's easy. That's why I can do it.
Have our skill set,
that's why I can do it for 24 hours straight, because it's stupid and easy. I can just talk and yell at people in chat.
But you kill it, man. You do a great fucking job.
Well, thank you, sir.
You do a great job.
I love our drivers. I do. These guys, I think, do a great job. I like watching them.
Hey, it's a freaking community, man. If it were just us up here, we wouldn't have any drivers.
Nah, we wouldn't.
You know what I mean? If it was just the drivers, they wouldn't have a server. It's a team effort. All of us coming together.
All about those dudes. So everybody, have yourselves.
Shout out to our sponsors this season, by the way.
Well, yeah, and let's talk real quick because I'm just going to throw the PC season bumper up one more time because I do want people to remember. So the results will be out later this week, right? We got to get incidents and all that stuff in, so it's going to take a little bit, a couple days. And when we have our next stream here, which may actually be the first race of season 3, we will announce our winners at that time on stream. They'll already know, but we'll announce them live on stream. But don't forget, I want to thank Next Level Racing for that FGT light going to our Pro Class champion, Silver Class champ, pulling a car setup bundle from Coach Dave Academy. And pay attention over on the Discord, because the PC drivers, you're going to be asked to vote for a driver who was most improved this season. The guys that run the PC league are looking at, they're going through the data of every race to see, give a top 5 type, top 6 type of deal to choose who you feel was the most improved driver. And Coach Dave's going to provide them with that track map bundle. So pay attention over there. Make sure you get your votes in and vote for your peers.
Yeah.
The other drivers.
It's not on the bumper, but don't sleep. The AM class also gets a $20 Steam gift card as well.
I didn't know that. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Look at that. That's some DLCs if you don't have them.
For sure.
That's some DLCs.
Upcoming American DLC. Rumored to be coming out on America Day.
There you go. You might get yours for free. America. Let's go. All right. Huff, thanks so much for coming in here and giving the lowdown on season 3, because I probably would have screwed that all up. You are fantastic. Keep it together. Drivers, keep going. DJ, just subscribe. Thank you so much, sir. Much appreciated. You guys are awesome. And we will be back, I don't know when. Probably for season 3, right? June 5th?
Unless you want to hop in late night and cover a beer league.
Yeah, I might be able to pull one of the two. We'll see.
Nah, it's actually pretty super late for you.
Yeah, we'll see. But everybody watching, thank you so much for being here. You guys are fantastic. And we will be back again at the latest June 5th for Laguna Seca. Thanks, guys.